Give me hands. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, it's hold on. So let me tell you the story that just happened because we talk about Facebook Marketplace, right?
Yeah.
I had to get a hard drive, so I bought something on Facebook Marketplace.
You get a used hard drive?
It's brand new.
Okay.
So
I was like, I would not trust.
No,
it.
I wouldn't
the
either.
stuff that I do, I'm like, I need it to be top notch.
It's brand new, sealed, and everything. So, anyways,
okay,
this was an hour ago. I went and got it from the guy. Nice guy. Went to his house, and 10 minutes later, after leaving, he's like, "Hey, you gave me an extra 100. It was 150 and I had 200s." And he texted me. He was like, "Hey, you gave me an extra $100 bill." I looked. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do remember that." I was like,
"Wow,
thank you for doing
That's
that," because that
man.
never
That's
happened.
pretty cool,
right?
Especially like a $100 bill. Like it's not like it's a bunch. Where, like
80% of the people probably would have just
probably more, just not said anything unless I said something to him.
No, that's a. You say that it's a rarity that people do that, but I think people are inherently, pretty decent. I think you would do the same thing.
Yeah, I would for sure. That's
absolutely,
true.
yeah.
It's just more so because Facebook Marketplace gets such a bad rap.
Sure,
that's where like all that's talked about is like how people are, and there are a lot of people scamming people and stuff like that. So that was that like just happened.
So did you just turn around?
Yeah, I was like, man, thank you. I appreciate your honesty. I actually wish I had another like 20 or something just to give him. And I was at the convenience store and I was like, do I ask him if he wants anything here or whatever? Like it does feel weird not rewarding him in a sense. But
yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool to see, definitely.
Yeah.
So crazy. I mean, I seen you for like how long now, or known you for like what, 2, 3, 4 years now? And Ian just told me like what you do, and what is it, like Marvel? You work for like
Marvel would have been a client for the studio that I work for.
So you work for a studio, like just give me a quick
visual
breakdown.
effects studio. Are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going.
Yeah.
So I'll get to that in a second. Is this your setup every week? It's you two doing this thing?
Yeah.
It's just the two of us. I mean,
that's awesome.
I mean, long story short, he started at the beginning doing it himself. Then he went a little bit like just stopped doing it, and then he messaged me one time and he was like, "Hey, let's just get it going and see what happens."
And you guys do it on a regular basis?
Yeah, I had stopped for a while, and then it was just better to do it with someone, let alone like with someone that you can easily have a conversation with.
Right,
and if there's not someone to come on, then at least we could just do something silly or not at all, I guess. But and then it's just we started back up, and it's been like, if we're actually going to do this, then let's make it regular and try and be as consistent as possible. And it's easy with the people like from the gym or wherever that there's a pretty cool.
Yeah,
every week it's been like stuff like this. Just
so let's
like,
plug it. Where do you guys put it? Post it.
YouTube, Spotify,
and the name of it?
HQCo.
HQ.
Yeah.
HQCo.
Yeah, that's what HQCo. That's what. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew there was HQ in it, but there's a lot of HQ podcasts on the internet.
Really?
So I didn't know that it was HQCo.
Yeah. And that's just like, headquarters, or like even headquarters or high quality conversations kind of like type of thing.
There was one that I was looking at. It was called the HQ podcast, and it was about health and fitness as well.
Oh, really?
But I was like, no, that's not it, because the host was obviously not you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's interesting that.
Well, with us, it's cool because it's so diverse. I mean, it's so there's every week there's somebody else, right? It could be a guy that's into fitness, but it could be someone like you.
Well, it's still in the fitness.
Still fitness.
Most
right?
of the connections are from the gym, just naturally, and then you know, like just from being a member, the different professions and experiences and just whatever.
You were talking about that before, how you get to know so many different people, and so many different professions and walks of life. Just come through the door of the gym, like awesome.
Which is so cool. I mean,
100%.
Every time I think about it, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
So no, but that he told me, and I was like, man, this is awesome, right? Just like working for a studio and just. Yeah.
So there's, just so you know, there's two sides of studios, right? There's the production side,
right,
which does the filmmaking and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's would be like Marvel,
right?
And then the VFX side of the studio, which is post-production, right? So the filming side of the studio hires the VFX side to do the post work.
Right. So they do all the filming, they do all the shoots.
Yeah.
And then what, they just send you the whole
They're called
parts?
Yeah, they're called plates.
Okay.
So each shot that needs a VFX added or a visual effect added to it, it's called a plate.
Okay.
And we would throw in all the 3D CGI work, right?
Does the post, like, does that role have any say or input, or do the
Creative?
No. Ask for any input from you? Like
they do, like, especially on smaller stuff, because filmmaking has changed so much in the last 20 years where filmmakers, aka directors, don't really know the process like they used to back in the day.
Because it's so advanced right now?
Well, they just don't know. They all want to throw in all these visual effects, but they don't know how the visual effects work. So they can't visualize it before it happens.
Okay.
Which is a problem.
Yeah.
Because that means money, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you can't tell us what you want, that's wasted dollars until we figure it out. And it's usually left up to visual effects houses to kind of come up with the ideas if the director doesn't know.
Okay.
And then it's a back and forth with, is this kind of what you want? Well, no, not really. Can you give me a different version? Okay, next week. Is this what you want? Closer, but still, So
it's like a constant back and forth, eh?
Back and forth, but who's eating that cost? It's not the filming studio. It's the VFX studio. That's why the VFX industry is dying.
Huh.
Because you think it would be so much more productive if that VFX was a part of the whole, filming, and could have some input on.
So when was
or even just get ideas of where that director is going.
There's a story. You know who Peter Coyote is? He's the guy. You've seen E.T.?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the adult antagonist. I can't remember what corporation he worked for. He worked for like some kind of
I don't
CDC
know.
type organization, I believe.
In the movie.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen E.T. But I've only seen it
It's
once.
a classic.
But there's a famous story that he tells about how when he was on set of E.T. 1981, 1980 when they were filming it, they were in the forest and they couldn't, they have grips and lighters trying to light the shot, and they couldn't get it to work. And he talks about how Spielberg just took over and he was like, put that light there, telling everybody where to do and set up what they needed to set up. And they turn on the lights and boom, you get this shot. And I don't know if you remember what it looks like, but it turns out being the poster for the actual movie, where it's like in the forest and there's like all these lights shooting up.
Yeah.
Because Spielberg knew more than everybody else on that set, even their roles. You know what I'm saying? Not only did he know his part, he knew everybody else's. That is gone now. It's
especially because
rare.
it was probably far and rare even then. I'm sure that only
but I mean
more prevalent.
Well, he knew what he was after. Whereas now they're just hiring studios now, like Marvel will hire just, I don't know if yes men is the term, but just lower level directors that they can boss around, right? Because it's basically Disney and Marvel that are going to get the input in as to what their end product is going to be. It's not the director on those projects, right? So these directors come in, they film it, and they have no idea what they're really filming. There's again, I can tell you some stories, but there's a female director on a recent superhero movie a couple years ago. I can't remember which one it was. But she's quoted as talking about, like, I don't even know what we just filmed there. Like, she had no idea what the end result was.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there any, on the flip side, like, is there any projects that you were like, or even smaller ones where you really felt like you contributed in a way that was
not at
productive?
Not at my level, because I worked more, and I made a decision early in my career that I didn't want to work for the film end of things. So I stuck to TV.
Oh, okay.
Because in film, the poor artists, they end up, when crunch time happens towards the end of production or post-production, they're doing like 16, 18-hour days, 7 days a week.
Because it's like a deadline.
Yeah.
You have to keep. Yeah.
And it's dangerous.
And you didn't want to do
I
that
didn't wanna do
because
that.
you were in fear for that type of
I
Or
had,
it's just
workload
the
as
stress.
I was more about, look, I'm getting paid well. This is a living. I would rather just do a 9 to 5 job. Like I love the work.
Mhm.
I don't want it to be my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still want my life outside of work.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So if I could come in, which in TV you generally could do more of, if I could come in and do, you know, like I say, 9 to 5 and go home,
Yeah.
then I'm fine.
When
with
you
that.
say TV, is it like TV shows?
It's TV shows. And
Okay.
back then, when I first started, it was really just stuff that was on TV. Now it's TV
Netflix series or
streaming
whatever.
services, right? But I mean, movies are all streaming now, right?
Yeah.
There's
Right.
no such thing as
It's
at this
all
moment
one.
as theater movies, really, right?
So what were like some of the projects that you worked on early on in your career that are
Oh my
Or like,
gosh.
how did this all start? Like, how
For
how-
me, it started. I wanted to be an actor when I was younger,
Okay.
and I got cast in a local film here by a student at Western, and Western didn't even really have a film student or film program. It was a film/English program because they didn't do like the arts, I guess.
yeah.
And so he filmed something, and I didn't even know what I was doing at the time, but he invited me in to watch him edit it. And I just fell in love with that process, just seeing everything that we shot just being cut together.
Yeah.
And so I fell in love with that, and I thought I wanted to be an editor because I knew acting wasn't going to be a real thing. you know?
Yeah.
So I ended up going to film school to be an editor. I went out to BC, did film school for 3 years, and graduated and realized pretty quickly, because I took 10 years off after high school, and I didn't know what I was going to do. So if I went to university right after, I would have just blown it.
Yeah.
So I was 29 when I went back to school.
Okay. Cool.
That's all. Yeah,
a lot,
that's-
lot
that's
older
pretty-
than
yeah.
the people that were in my class.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I was going, because BC at the time, I don't know if you guys remember, we had OAC here in high school. So
Yeah.
we had 5 years of high school.
Mhm.
BC only had 4. So I was, getting in class with 17-year-olds
Yeah.
and so it's been,
Which is fun about the university because you can have all types of ages.
you can
in a class.
but I mean, you also saw it because there was a different mindset.
Yeah.
They were still
Right.
there to have fun and play,
Right.
and I needed to buckle down.
Mhm.
Right, like I'm 29. This has got to be it for me.
Yeah.
So I did that for 3 years, and then loved school. I would be a perpetual student if I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody paid me to go to school today, I'd go.
Interesting,
I
yeah.
love it. I love sitting in a classroom and learning.
Yeah.
But I quickly realized that even at 29, working on set was not for me, because I started getting a couple of jobs after school, and it's like, these are long hours.
Mhm.
And
So
this-
you were
this is-
on set while the film or the TV.
yeah, not as an
was-
editor, because
Yeah.
that's still a higher level position.
Mhm.
When you start out, you're just what's called a PA, a production assistant.
Just do what
They
you're
just get
told,
shit on.
basically. Yeah.
Like even it's so ridiculous. The people in film that are production assistants, they work the longest hours because they're there.
The first one to show up,
First one
the
to
last
show
one
up,
to
last one to
load.
leave, yeah. Because they set up and then they clean up. And for some reason, the industry decides that these people are the one facet of film making that doesn't deserve overtime.
Yeah.
Because
So
they're
they
not
just
unionized,
work for
right?
whatever they're
Still
gonna
to
do.
this day.
To this day, as far as I'm aware, yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't know as much about the production side of things, but I believe because they're not part of the union.
Hmm.
So yeah, they didn't get paid overtime, and we're just getting like I worked a Cialis commercial was one of the first thing I did, and I was in charge of the locations truck. So I had to drive. I had to be first on set and last to leave, like I said, and we were filming an hour outside of town in Chilliwack from Vancouver.
Yeah.
By the time I was getting home, I was getting 3 hours of sleep and hitting the road. And I did that 4 days straight, and I couldn't even see straight.
Is there,
Wow.
and like, just, I'm sure having a responsibility on a set and stuff like that, there was no part of that like thrill that was,
It
you
dies
did
quickly.
enjoy it? Yeah.
Ian, it dies
You're just
quickly.
like
Like, when you-
overworked after a couple days and you're like,
Yes.
oh, this
Like
is,
you get on set for
Yes.
the first little bit, and you get sucked in by the magic of
Yeah.
it. For sure, you do. Like we did some awesome things, even on a Cialis commercial.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they were filming on these great, ranch locations out in Chilliwack. And the Cialis thing is that a couple sits in 2 side-by-side bathtubs. I don't know if you.
I don't know. Maybe I
That's
have.
their thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Whatever the location is. So they're outdoors looking at a sunset, holding hands in clawfoot bathtubs outside. And we filmed this one like mansion that was an outdoor pool. and pissing rain. Vancouver, right? Pissing rain. So they tarped it.
Oh,
And they made it look like a sunny day.
that's kind of
right?
I'm sure
See,
like
that's
the
cool,
magic
yeah.
of
And it's
it.
very,
like,
that's the magic that I'm talking
Yeah.
about. And that is awesome when you first see it. But after, a week of 3 hours of sleep a night, it dies down pretty quickly.
and then an editor would be the complete opposite end of that. Like they don't get to partake or see any of that. It all just shows
and
up
again,
at their
an
desk.
editor is more like an office job
Yeah.
where you still potentially long hours, but you're cutting the work.
So at any point did you ever start to progress up any sort of ladder on a set?
I did. I got to an assistant position editing on a movie, and that was fun. I liked it. But again, one of those things where I quickly realized I didn't like cutting other people's stuff.
Mhm.
I liked cutting my own stuff because I knew when I cut my own stuff, it was stuff that I filmed, so I knew what I was filming. I knew how it was going to get put together. Trying to piece together somebody else's vision, again, I quickly realized it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So when did I graduate? Graduated in 2007. I went to Greece right after graduation, just hung out with family for 4 months. And while I was there, I decided to pick up a 3D program and just kind of play around with it and just fell in love with the potential. And that was 2008. And since then, I've been playing around with it. So I'm self-taught.
And so so
okay.
after school that was all.
Yeah, that's also
How like when in that time frame did that type of how advanced at that time was that technology or software? Was it pretty? Is it still had it been around for 10 years previous? Like when you started school, was that a thing? Probably.
We didn't do visual effects in school. We did traditional filmmaking. Like I was taught how to make a film on set.
Yeah.
I wasn't taught aside from editing.
Would there have been a visual effects?
There is now. It's a university now. It was a college when I went there. But after we graduated, they got given like $20 million to build this huge facility.
Oh, of course.
So now it's a VFX facility.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we missed out on all of it.
And jumping way ahead to current day, is it still a big VFX facility?
Yeah, I believe it
Just
is.
based on where everything's
they got
gone with
a
it.
3-stage sound stage or film stage type thing where it's like it's 3 separate stages that have collapsible walls to make one large one.
Okay.
And a green screen wraps around the whole thing.
Oh, cool.
So they can film.
Yeah.
You guys familiar with the green screen concept?
Yeah, for sure. So they film everything there, and then it trans on
Right.
TV or on video. You just see. The
You
background.
remove the green screen.
Right.
That would be what my job would be.
Right.
Right. Like, so we remove it, or I wouldn't do the removing. That'd be a compositor, and then I would put in the 3D aspect.
So
whether it's a building
going back to that, like you got out of school, started playing around with software, and what were you just? What was the first things you
took
did?
a long time after that. Still, I was doing some freelance type stuff for a company that I worked for, not related to
Your job title?
job. No, it was actually pipe installation. Like,
Oh yeah.
and this guy that owned the company wanted to make a commercial to advertise. I was like, I can do that for you. So I did that for him, and then.
Like, at what point did you figure out that could be a career in itself? Or
Well, it wasn't at that point because I was doing that from here, and there's
Yeah.
nothing here, right? Nothing in London that can sustain that.
Mhm.
And I got lucky. A friend of mine from school called me up and was just joking around. What's going to get you to come back to Vancouver? And I, as a joke, said, "Find me a job."
yeah,
3 days later, he said, "My company's hiring. Come out and interview." And I was like,
for VFX.
"It wasn't VFX. It was assistant editing at the time."
Okay.
So that was on a Wednesday. I got on a plane on Sunday.
Because you were you had a job that
You said
was
as a joke,
relevant.
"Get me a job."
Get me
you
a
didn't
job,
think.
and it just so happened that
Yeah.
his company needed an assistant editor. She's like, "Come and interview," and he said, "Come and interview," and I'm quoting here. You got,
Mhm.
but it was basically
You got
he was
the
so
job.
tight. He was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
tight with whoever.
And
was
when you
hiring.
had when that job opportunity come up, did you feel like you would leave the whole VFX? Were you pumped about a job in editing, or you're like,
Editing
I was
started-
pumped about getting a job in the industry in some degree or
Okay.
another. Right.
That makes sense.
That couldn't lead really to VFX. But it was in the industry at least, and it was
Yeah.
reality television,
Yeah.
right? So I was doing stuff like The Bachelor Canada and
Really?
things like that. Yeah.
What else?
Vancouver type shows, like, there was a show called Urban Suburban. That was the first show I did. And it was more, those Love It or List It type shows. Like
Yeah.
It was that kind of thing.
Okay.
So it was like, are we going to sell these people on buying an urban home or a suburban home?
And what kind of thing? Oh yeah, video at that time it was.
So
video
this was
editing,
just
so-
editing.
This was assistant editing. So
Okay.
I was basically, there was an editor
Yeah.
who worked during the day, and I had the night shift. I had to load his footage or her footage into the computer and basically log it all and kind of catalog it all so that they could easily pull the footage.
Okay,
you
so
know.
this is not
Nothing
even
to do with
close
that.
with
No.
FX or whatever
No,
right now.
so that was that happened in 2011,
Mhm.
and then that was about 3 years of that. And then I got on a show called The Quest, which filmed in Austria in a castle, and it was about LARPing. You guys familiar with LARPing?
No, what's LARPing?
Live action role play. So these people, it was medieval, and these people
okay.
actually
Dress.
would dress up in like
Yeah.
old like knight's armor type,
Yeah.
like fighting dragons. That's how they even audition. When they send in their audition tapes, these people are like,
Swinging
at a
swords.
it's like
Festival.
cosplay type.
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing, and they ended up finding a castle in Austria, and they put us up for a month, which was awesome.
Oh, so you got to go down.
I got to
and
go down there
everything.
as
That's
an
pretty
assistant
cool.
editor, just kind of logging all the footage.
Yeah.
And they put me up in a hotel and fed me for a month, and
Cool.
it was just a great experience. And from that, I came back, and the visual effects supervisor hired me to go over to Austria, knowing that he would retain me in Vancouver when they started cutting it together as an assistant. So I started doing that, and then they had, because of the nature of the show, they had some effects that they had to outsource.
Yeah.
And on easy shots, they didn't want to really pay for them outside a house, and they knew that I could do it. So they just let me do it in house. And from that, I made a connection again through that supervisor. He put me in touch with the guy that was doing the effects in his studio
Uh-huh.
and got me a job. And that's how I got into VFX.
Cool.
Cool.
So that's what started.
And that
out
was
for me.
2012.
By that time, it was 2014.
14. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I was with that company through all its evolutions for 10 years until all this stuff started happening with the industry that ultimately forced it to shut its doors.
So what are the cool, like what kind of, or the highlight projects at the,
Well, because, so we were in the same building and they were kind of sister companies. So we were called Encore Vancouver, and we were the TV division. And within the same building was the film division called Method at the time. And Method got Marvel contracts. So in the beginning, it was like unheard of to pull us up
Yeah.
and, let us work on some of the movies. Because like, oh, there's just a different, let me take this off. This is kind of rattling. There's a quality difference between TV artists and film artists. That was the mentality.
and you
right?
came from, that was more so
I
known
came
as
from
a
TV.
TV.
Yeah.
But
Is there really
Towards it-
though? Or is that just kind of preconceived notion?
there is only in the sense that, because what you see on screen, there's a difference, but that's just because TV has time crunches. Like when I told the movie artists what we did in a week, they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because these movie artists were working on 3 shots in 6 months.
Mhm.
I do 3 shots in a day,
Wow.
right? That's again what I loved about being in the TV side of things. I would go into work and do something different every day, whereas on the movie side, you do the same thing every day.
Big yeah.
I like that variety, right? So I didn't know from day to day if I was going to be doing the same thing.
So how did it go once you started with the movies?
So what happened is it got to the point that this company Method was in such crunch time with some Marvel pictures that they were like, okay, let's grab some of the artists. So they pulled us over. And so I got to work on the first Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland.
Sick.
That one's called Homecoming, right? Is it?
Yes. Yeah.
And then I got to do the second Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I didn't have to do the hours that they were doing.
Yeah.
When they were
Did you get specific time frames of that movie that you were responsible of doing, or did you do from like start to finish?
And I'll tell you, okay, so the difference between, again, with TV at that time and film is more of an assembly line. So you have a department that you're in, and that's what you do day in and day out. So when I went to do Guardians, I was in the modeling department, and I got to model some of Groot's vines
Mm-hmm.
when he stretches them out of his
Yeah,
fingers.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
for the Spider-Man,
Groot.
I was just finishing editor for the lighting department. So I just kind of made sure that everything was okay when it came out of the render farm before it went to the compositor. The compositor is who takes it after the lighting department and puts all the stuff together and makes it look like really nice. But like I say, so when you're doing movies, that's what you do day in and day out. You're in a department. When you're in TV in a small boutique studio like we were, I was assigned a shot on a show.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever was required of that shot, I would do. So if it had a character that or something that needed to be modeled, I would model it. I would texture it. I would light it. I wouldn't animate it because that's a specialty. So it would go to an animator, and then I would send it off to compositing. So I got to do something different again.
What
day.
would have been your favorite if you had to pick one of the specific?
Well, thankfully, when we went into the pandemic happened, and we suddenly became a global office. So we had Encore Vancouver, where I worked. It was Encore Hollywood, and at that time, I think there was even like Encore New York. But we became remote, so they turned us into a global office, which compartmentalized us. So I became strictly a lighter.
Oh,
Thankfully, lighting is my favorite part.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So because if I got stuck modeling every day, I probably would have quit.
really?
Yeah.
Aw, lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also because I was one of the better lighters in our Vancouver studio. So
Obvious,
naturally, you're going to put me where my strengths are.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You just work by yourself, or do you have a couple guys or like a team?
We did have a team. And we were growing right before COVID hit. We went from, I want to say like our 3D department. Actually, I don't know what 3D was, but the whole studio was probably 20 people. And then right before the pandemic, we started growing, and we were like at like 60.
And they're all you're just would be responsible for lighting, or like, and the other team member would be responsible for something else.
That was after COVID hit. Before COVID hit, I was responsible for everything 3D wise on the shot.
Okay.
So trying to think of like something I did right before COVID. Like we did a lot of the CW superhero shows, like Supergirl, Flash.
Yeah.
So
There was that other show too. I remember the River.
Virgin River. That's right. So I did all seasons of Virgin River up until the end of season 4, which was the last one before we closed doors. So I think there's another 2 seasons after that. But so yeah, I'll give you an example. So Virgin River films. The show is supposed to take place in that community up north in a forested area in the spring. They film in the fall. So the trees are stripped bare.
But why? Just because they had
That's when their schedule happens.
Schedule.
And,
Time is money type of
because
thing.
they want to release for a certain date, so they got to film during these days, right?
Yeah.
So we had to replace all the trees in the forest.
Yeah, I remember you
So-
tell me that.
I would get a shot and I would model a tree. In that case, we started getting like what's called canned assets. So we would just pull them off the internet, you know. I would model the tree, texture the tree. I would light it, right? And then I would send it off to the compositor to put it with the filmed plate.
Yeah.
What was
Wild.
Yeah.
It's like make fall into spring.
Yeah.
What are like? I want to just know some other like Groot's fingers. Like what are a few other things that like stand out or that are most commonly known that you would have done?
Well, you know what's funny, Ian? I always joke with people, and it's not really a joke because it's serious.
You're the one that puts the S on Superman's chest or something
Right.
like that. Like something like that.
Painted, you know the mustache thing, right? The reshoots for Justice League.
No, I don't.
Tom Cavill was filming Mission Impossible at the time, and he had a mustache in Mission Impossible, and then they wanted to go at the same time and do reshoots for Justice League, so he couldn't shave his mustache.
Oh, no way.
So they had to digitally superimpose his lip.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you would
No, I didn't do that. But that's just a
fun
known
fact.
joke about the industry.
But it's crazy because like actors would film 2
Yeah.
movies at the same time,
Yeah,
and
it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But I worked on so many small TV shows in the beginning of my career that I've never watched. Like, so I can't even remember.
Yeah.
We were known in the beginning as a studio that would always work on pilots that never got picked up.
Really?
Oh,
all
wow.
the time. All the time. So I can't even remember the stuff that we did because they just wouldn't get picked up. It wasn't until we really kind of started working with the LA company
Mhm.
that we started getting shows that were actually playing on TV regularly.
Yeah.
The superhero stuff really helped us out.
Well, it's cool because it's like you'd watch, the movie and be like, I did that.
Well, I just even like
Right?
way
So
back
it's
when
just
you
like-
told me about Virgin River, I'd cross Netflix or something. I'm
Right.
like, oh, I know. you
It's
know.
like- we got a guy who
Yeah.
literally worked on this.
I did a couple of towards the end there for Supergirl's last season. They really wanted to make that show pop in the last season, so they kind of threw a lot of money at it. And do you know the character Martian Manhunter at all for Supergirl?
No.
He's an alien, kind of green.
No.
We had to do a bunch of head replacements.
Mm.
The actor that plays him got hurt, so they had to film him with the stunt double. We had to replace his head, and then I would even replace his head with the actual Martian head and everything, and a bunch of shots. And yeah.
Does it happen often where like, say something like that, replacing a head? Is there anything that a normal viewer would never notice, but you would be like, oh, that's actually like, if
The trees on Virgin River, I'm sure people would look at it and not think twice about that being fake,
Really?
a fake forest.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'll have to go watch it. But
But I
nothing,
mean,
yeah.
an alien head, you guys, because we know that
Yeah.
people don't have alien heads. You're
Right.
gonna see that, and
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Wow.
But that's the best part. Is like best compliment you can get is when
You can't tell,
100%.
obviously.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the best.
Yeah. So then how did kind of going back to the COVID and everything, like how's it changed? Like how is that what happens now for the state of it that they don't need as many
like
of these
visual effects is
professionals?
dying down. That's what you're
Is it?
Yeah,
saying.
it's dying down. It's
Because-
so COVID hit and we took a big hit at the time. Thankfully, the studio kept a core group of us on at that time. And I'd been there for, I think when that happened, probably about 8 years
Mhm.
at that point. So thankfully I was established and they kept me on, but they reduced our wages. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
It went through the government, like companies could actually reduce wages.
I don't because it obviously, but I
Yeah.
do remember.
So I got my salary cut and even a day cut. So we ended up going to 4 days a week. So
Is that because there was did the companies do that because the workload was there, or out of just like there was
Because
zero?
there was no
was there
filming.
any work at
COVID,
all?
during COVID,
There was
production
no-
had to stop.
Right,
Nobody
yeah,
could
yeah.
be in contact, right?
Yeah.
So the company kept us on and they decided to do an internal project. So what we did during that time is Flash was a big show for the company before COVID hit. So they have a lot of shots where they're running through
Mm-hmm.
digital cities, right?
Mm.
And whatnot. So our studio head at the time said, why don't we take this time off to actually build an actual, virtual city? And that's what we did. We built a virtual city. And it's unfortunate because by the time we got back from COVID, it didn't get used a lot because something happened with the Flash. I don't even know what happened, but the contract got taken away from us to go to another studio. And then Supergirl ended. So it's like, you didn't really get to use that city much, but thankfully that's what kept us employed to do that project. And then production started ramping up again and got to the state that it was the same as it was before. You
Yeah.
know? So I guess COVID was after the final phase of phase 4 for Marvel for the superhero. So that wasn't affected. But now the issue was that, or is that it's just compounded issues, right? So we bounced back from COVID, I would say, but then we had 2 back-to-back strikes. Not just back-to-back, but they
I remember
overlapped.
that.
So
Yeah.
the writers went on strike,
Yeah.
and then partway through that, the actors went on strike with them. And those were the actor strike is the biggest strike in that union's history, apparently, and the writer strike was the second biggest in their history.
Yeah.
So that really decimated things as well, along with
Like everyone across the board, pretty much it impacted.
Film industry. I
well, you
think.
you're not allowed to like these are unioned employees,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can't make productions without them, right?
Yeah.
So that shut everything down. That and then Marvel went through phases with their superhero, how they release their movies.
Yeah.
And Phase 4 ended with the end of Avengers Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah.
Which was, for me personally, the best. And ever since then, it
kind of finalized a good section of the story. Right?
Oh, absolutely. It was like, that was for me the peak, in my opinion, of Marvel. And then ever since after that, it was just going slowly downhill.
100%. Like I got to say, I've probably seen all those movies up until the end of Phase 4. Anything that was in Phase 5, which is considered the stuff that they put on streaming, like I guess it's Disney Plus that does it. Right?
Disney Plus, yeah.
I haven't seen a single thing.
Yeah, I mean, I always look forward to it, and then I'll watch an episode, and it's like, man, trash.
The quality's gone downhill, right?
Quality went downhill. Even the storylines went downhill. And I was just like, man, like what's going on now? My final hope is like, Deadpool was awesome, and then now the Fantastic Four, the reboot of.
I don't have a lot of confidence in the Fantastic Four.
I've seen the trailer, and then I was like, man, what is this?
It's something has happened in Hollywood in the last. I only took notice of it after COVID, really, but they say it's been going on for like the last 10 years or so, where. I don't know. It used to be all about dollars and cents.
Yeah.
If it's going to make us money, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Money talks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Last 10 years, filmmaking has been about activism.
Right.
It's
That's what I was
and they're
getting
doing it
at.
again with Fantastic Four. It's like they haven't learned their lesson. Like they're getting these box office flops with like Snow White. What else? Just tanked royally. Like all their Disney.
What was it? Yeah.
Live action reboots have pretty much tanked, I believe.
Everything is tanking.
You're getting like the girl Rachel Zegler for Snow White, and she's going on talking trash about the original Snow White, and
right.
She doesn't need this Prince Charming man to save her. She's a strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a different movie.
Like so, why are we constantly pushing an agenda when it's clearly tanking the box office?
Right. We just want good movies.
Do you think
all
that comes
people
full
want.
And
circle?
that's why like the whole community, I mean, is just like I can tell because everyone that I know who loves the Marvel universe in general, right? It's just like, man, like why don't they just make movies like, you know, like they used to, you know, like Iron Man, like, you know, Iron Man 1, 2, 3, 4, the whole phase until the end game, right? Yeah. And then, you know, you start coming out, then Thor came out and stuff, and it's just like, man, what is this?
What's
right?
the last Thor?
Yeah.
With the female Thor?
With the female Thor.
So
it's
that's
like,
what they're pushing, right?
Why,
that's why,
right? It's like, come on, man. Like, you have such a great, you know, you can do anything. The world of Marvel is huge, and you can make it so good, and you're just, you know, trash. Ever since Disney took over, almost, it's like it went downhill.
But it would just be like a reflection of society in general, almost.
But again, it used to be that dollars and cents were what dictated
Right.
that, right? You're losing money. Why are you still pushing it?
So like that's what I was
nobody's
saying.
going to the movie theaters. I literally don't go to the movie theaters to watch these movies because it's like, why? I'll just wait till they come out and just, you know, stream it or whatever, right? Because it's not worth. I used to love going to it, like waiting, right? Like, let's go, right? And it's just like, man, this was
You
trash.
can't get me to a theater anymore.
But does
No.
it go like full circle eventually, where people and companies start going back to like being less woke and stuff like that? Like,
you know,
time will tell, yeah.
Like,
Right. Well, we'll see right now.
because it
With,
kind of does with like the rest of like, I think society is kind of now the woke people are now more or less the odd men out.
Well,
versus,
I mean,
you know,
getting Trump in office, I think helped.
but years ago, it was like even if 10 people in the room thought one thing and one person thought the other, like you were the odd man out. Now people are kind of like, you know,
well, we'll
go
see.
back to being normal a little bit. You know, I don't know.
I hope so. I mean, the next step so far, like the final whatever. What was I gonna say? The new movie that was coming out, the Fantastic Four. I don't know what that's gonna be about, but Doom or whatever. Robert Downey Jr. who played Iron Man is now Doom. Yeah. So we'll see how that turns out.
That's just again, everyone thinks that's just a stunt to get nostalgia viewers back, right? Like, just because they're fighting to figure out what to do. You're fighting to figure out what to do, yet you're still making the mistakes. You're talking about Fantastic Four. people are up in arms that a beloved character, the Silver Surfer, is a female in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why? Who do you think? It's not to say that there aren't female comic fans, but who do you think the majority of comic fans are?
Totally. And
Yeah.
where like that a good contrast, like do you think 5 or 6 years ago if the Silver Surfer was female, more people would be like, yeah, more like I agree, like team female Silver Surfer.
That's what they're trying to defend themselves and chalking it up to toxic masculinity,
Right.
Toxic fans. But male fan bases have historically liked female characters when they've been good. And there's like Ripley's a good example from Aliens.
Yeah.
Dudes love Ripley.
Yeah.
She's badass.
Right.
There's other examples through movie history.
For
where,
sure.
you know, they're not angry that you're making a woman powerful in the movies. They're angry that you're making their beloved characters.
Yeah, you're going
Right.
out of your
Gender
way
swapping
just to
them.
like
Right.
be activists
Yeah.
or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Right. And that's, I think that was the biggest downfall because they were doing that.
Mhm.
Right. And they're basing the movies on that, which is like, no, base the movie on actual, like, you know, comics, real shit, you know, Stan Lee type shit. Right. So I don't know what's going to happen, if it's ever going to change. Hopefully. I would like it to change. I would like to like wait for a movie and go and be like, yes, I'm literally buying the ticket the day the movie comes out and going to see it, rather than like, man, like I'm just waiting for this movie to come out on a streaming service.
Well, that's probably a whole other side of it is like, sure, there's diehards that will go to the movie and stuff like that, but there's also 80% of people that used to go to theaters that won't go anymore, just now forever stream, you know, service viewers.
And again, that's all because of compounded issues. Like you talk, will it ever change again? I don't think so. We're not going to get those numbers into the theaters that we used to. And it's one of the things, like we say, it's bad storytelling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Marvel fatigue or superhero fatigue. Like people are sick of superhero movies. And streaming wars, right? Like streaming services have killed the theaters. Like we don't want to get up from our couch when we got it right at our fingertips, right? So if the only thing basically that was drawing anybody to the theater, and the only thing viable for a studio, because you can't have a movie in a theater unless it's a blockbuster anymore.
Right.
Only blockbusters were the superhero movies for the last 15
Yeah,
years.
true.
Right?
Yeah.
So we need a new superhero movie. You know what I'm saying? It's something new that's going to get everybody back in those seats. What's that going to be? You can't foresee it. I don't know what it is, right?
Maybe
Maybe you got some insights.
no, I mean the opposite. I mean, maybe you're like, you know, it'll take some with an idea, but you make a little superhero movie.
But it's going to come down to, again, it's storytelling over and over. Right?
It has to be a good story, man.
100%.
It has to be a good story to draw attention and be like, man, this is going to be awesome. Like the Wolverine and Deadpool, that was awesome for me.
Yeah.
That was like the last good Marvel movie in recent.
I could see the
came out.
next, like,
It was
you know,
sick. It was awesome.
superhero being like the first. I mean, there are maybe more so villains, but like a AI superhero that everyone loves, and that's like the first of like the next 20 years are all AI
Interesting.
superheroes. It's
Even like Kane the Conqueror, for example, right? Like he gets defeated by ants. He's apparently supposed to be like one of the, you know, the top villains in
They had
the
to cut ties
universe.
with him
Yeah.
because of that
Right,
assault issue and everything.
right,
Like, he was supposed to be the big villain for the next phase, right?
Right.
But they had to revamp it. That's why
Right.
they went with Robert Downey for the Doomsday
right.
thing.
Yeah,
But
even that story, right? It's just like, come on,
yeah.
like you're the top of the top. How are little ants gonna beat you?
And I had a problem with that because when you watched him in Ant-Man, he just wasn't menacing enough, considering we just got off of Thanos, who was like this.
Right,
this
exactly.
crazy
That's
ass-
what I'm seeing.
you know?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's like you got Thanos, who's just like peak killer, you know, and then he just like that guy.
And look how long they took to basically whet our appetites with Thanos, right? Like
Right.
they
That
teased
was
him
awesome.
over like a 12-year period, right?
Exactly.
Before he actually got revealed.
And that's the cool thing. That
Yeah,
that draws
the
attention,
storyline
right?
behind it all.
Do you think that audiences would be interested to wait another 10 to 15 years for the ultimate outcome of another phase, though?
I don't think so,
'Cause
unless it's
to
like,
let them build up those characters over years of movies. Like, I don't know if they're patient enough to do it anymore.
I don't know. It would have to be something completely different than.
because you got to think about it, like from Iron Man, the first Iron Man that came out in 2000 and what was it, 7, 8, maybe 8? Yeah,
Talk
I
about a
remember
risk with Iron Man too. I'll tell you.
I remember vividly watching that movie. Like I was still at university, and literally probably half of the football team went first day to watch that movie, and it was epic. Going like leaving the movie theater, it was just like epic. And from that day on, fast forward whatever that was until the end game, it was that whole concept of those phases to lead to Endgame and Thanos. It was just like, wow.
It would
I think they
almost.
got-
Sorry,
go ahead.
go
No, go ahead.
It would almost be like it would. For me, thinking of it, it'd be like the one thing that would draw is like the ultimate actor as that superhero that you
that's what
that you could follow for the
Casting
next 10
Robert Downey
years.
was
100%.
lightning in a bottle.
Right.
That's kind of
Stroke
where
of luck.
Right.
that's where you
Right.
to project the future as like business as it sounds. It would be whoever's the most relevant,
Yeah.
unrealistic person that you could ever get to play that, and that would maybe catapult something to follow
And
that
he
person
was
for the next.
The Iron Man,
100%.
like he was.
But as soon
literally-
as you start to do like the woke stuff and like
No,
these
that's
little
gotta go.
games, then
That's
it's all
gotta go.
gone
Right.
out the window.
Yeah.
You instantly lose
Nobody wants that. People
credibility,
just want to be entertained. They don't want to be preached to.
Right.
They don't want, this isn't-
persuaded, and like
No, this isn't activism. It's entertainment.
Mhm.
Let's,
Right.
Let's get back
and
to
let's
entertainment.
separate that.
Yeah, 100%,
You know,
100%.
that's what it should be. That's what I believe it
And
should
again,
be.
nobody's saying that you can't have strong female characters, but pick a character that exists or create a new one.
yeah,
Right.
And make her awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right. Like,
totally. Don't change the gender or whatever of a character that's been the same character for
Like
10
for
years.
example, in the X-Men, you had female characters.
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey,
most
awesome.
powerful X-Men, most powerful mutant in comics, right?
In
Like,
comics, right? So that's you can make that.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
possible, right?
and
Just
everybody
don't
loves her.
exactly. And what was her Mystique too?
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on, awesome.
I don't know. Like,
So how did AI? How has like changed the subject a little bit? Like how has AI infiltrated its way into the whole
AI
filmmaking process? I guess
it's
even.
on it's all out there, right? So everyone's like all jumping on board. AI, as of yet, I don't think it's been a huge contributing factor as to why we're in the state that we're in.
Mhm.
It might be in the future. I mean, it's advancing so quickly that it will definitely take jobs, lower level jobs for sure. But that's not where it is yet. Like
Yeah.
AI, there's stuff all over. Like LinkedIn's ridiculous. It's terrible now because it's become the new Facebook, but unfortunately, but people are posting all this stuff about the dangers of AI now with the film industry, and some of the stuff they're putting out there is just gorgeous, and you're like, oh my god, this is scary. Like
Yeah.
there was a shot that was circulating that somebody made of a dragon like flying over this valley, and it looked incredible.
Mhm.
It's created in like friggin' 6 seconds.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if you look at the whole frame, there were parts that it didn't quite
Mhm.
pick up correctly. And the other issue was when you are a studio, there's back and forths with the creatives. So the director, they'll come in, like I say, they'll give you notes. Well, the wing's flapping a little oddly. Can we get him to turn left here or whatever? AI can't do that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's still very much a
need-
tool
yeah.
more
Yeah,
than
it's a tool,
anything,
right?
yeah.
You still need the creatives to be able to manipulate and direct things.
Mhm.
AI can't direct things yet, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it will eventually, no
Yeah.
doubt, right? But right now, that's not what's causing the issue.
Yeah.
It's other stuff. It's the streaming wars were a big thing. Like when at the height of the streaming wars, studios like the streamers were just throwing money at projects. Now that they realize that they're not making money, like Netflix is one out. So I don't even know. I don't think Apple's making money. Disney Plus is definitely not making money. I think Crave's not making money. So they've pulled back on the
Yeah.
budgets, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling back on budgets means smaller productions and condensed schedules. So when you look at your Disney Plus superhero shows and you say that they're crap, you probably don't realize it, but subconsciously it just doesn't look as good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's because something that took 8 months to do is now being done in 2 months.
Yeah.
Right?
And no wonder it's gonna look
Yeah.
trash.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if budgets keep getting smaller, you can't put things in theater, because to put something in a theater, it's got to be a blockbuster so that you recoup those costs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course, yeah.
But there's just so many like
Different pieces to the puzzle
yeah,
as far as
100%.
why things.
And as far as the VFX side of things go, we're our own worst enemies, because we were in this situation in 2013 when something big happened that kind of at that time took shape in getting us to unify, but nothing ever came of it because we ended up just cutting each other's throats anyways. That's the VFX mentality. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but in 2013, have you heard, the movie Life of Pi?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Great movie.
Life of Pi won VFX, the Oscar for best VFX that year. And 11 days before the Oscars, they went bankrupt.
No way,
Wow.
because of just how much it costs for them
Yeah.
to run the whole thing.
Yep. Because the way that VFX work is, it's not like you're a contractor.
Mhm.
If somebody gives you plans to build a house and you build up the first floor with all the framework, and then they decide to change the plans, you got to scrap all that and build it from scratch, right?
Yeah.
Where's that money coming from? Studio's not paying for that.
Right.
The VFX house is paying for it. That's generally how it works. So
Yeah.
that's what happened with Rhythm and Hughes, which was the VFX company that did Life of Pi, the majority of the work, and they ended up eating all the costs. And the poor artists ended up, because they loved the company so much, they ended up working the last of the movie for free.
Mhm.
They didn't even get paid.
Wow.
So even without that, the movie wouldn't have. I mean, maybe they would have just brought it to the next house to do and stuff like that, maybe. But
Well, at that time, it was still in.
or it would have been
VFX was in
lost
a pla-
cause.
We were in a place where movies were still being done at select houses. So that movie was done at 3 houses, I believe. Now, the latest Marvel movie, Captain America, Brave New World, had 19 houses, I
Oh
believe.
yeah.
So they're spreading it out
Mhm.
now. But to add insult to injury, Ang Lee goes and accepts the director or best director Oscar for Life of Pi. Doesn't even thank the visual effects team. The visual effects on that movie is what? 90% of the movie?
Is
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's what we're getting to now.
Yeah.
Everything's shot on a green screen. So what you're seeing on
Mhm.
screen is 90% VFX.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of gripe, why are we not seeing any back end of that? No
Yeah.
royalties come to any VFX artists that work on that, right? So we're getting paid our wages, and then that's it. Whatever, if that movie goes on to
Yeah.
make $1 billion,
Doesn't
we
even
don't see
matter, yeah.
more of that.
Yeah.
But we ate the cost to get that movie up on the
Yeah,
big
sure.
screen.
See,
I
that's
could-
shitty, man. That's the dark side and the shitty
It's
side
a bad
of,
model,
yeah.
and they know how to fix it. They just won't fix it.
Mm.
So they're talking like, we need a VFX union. I don't know if that'll help things, because what's to stop people from still taking stuff from
Yeah.
overseas to India, which is cheaper.
Right.
But instead of getting mobilized and unionized, we end up cutting each other's throats, because when we hear that the new movie is going to cost $100 million in visual effects to make, well, let's take it away from that house, so we'll bid it for 80 million.
Yeah, of course.
Knowing
It's
we
just
can't
like-
do it for 80
yeah,
million,
Right.
Yeah.
right? But we got to get the work,
Mhm.
right? So that's the kind of thing that needs some kind of regulation.
Yeah.
Like if you work on set that is unionized, I can't even, if I'm in the locations department, I'm not even allowed to touch a piece of equipment that's in the grips department. Like I can't. An Apple box is a common thing that people need to go stand on, and it's just basically what it is an Apple box, right? Like a
Yeah.
box. They use it all the time in film on set, but I can't touch that if I'm in the wrong department, because union regulates that it's got to be moved by this person,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh man, it's just like, so if things are that strict on set and adhered to, that's the kind of thing we need for the post-production side of
absolutely,
things,
yeah.
you know? Like we need right now. There's like hardly any jobs being posted for visual effects. Like I've been out. I don't know if Ian told you this, but I've actually not worked in 2 years. In
Damn.
VFX. So, but I'm constantly monitoring it, seeing what's out there. And right now, the stuff that's getting posted for jobs are all at the senior level. So what they're doing, it seems, is that they're hiring a senior position and getting them to do all the facets of the post-production.
Yeah.
So you're asking a senior person to do the mid-level effects work, you know.
Is it just because there's so many people in that same position that goes back to like
it's just there's
someone's going to take the job even though they know they can't do all the jobs
I
type
think
of thing?
that there's 100,000 estimated VFX workers across the globe.
Wow.
And I told you a couple months ago, remember we were talking about it, that at the height of 2020, before COVID, maybe it's 2019 or 2022, I can't remember. It was something like 280 productions that year.
Yeah.
We were down last year or something like that to 56 or something like that.
Crazy.
Damn.
Don't quote me on those numbers,
Yeah.
but that's the drastic change, right?
Yeah.
So if we're down to that scale of production, where are these 100,000 VFX workers going to get jobs, right? So now you're hiring supervisor level, senior level VFX artists to do everything. Right?
Yeah.
Whereas on set, that can't be done, right?
Right.
It's compartmentalized. I'm not allowed to do that job, right? I'm not allowed to touch that. And it should be like that in VFX.
Yeah, for sure.
If I'm a lighter, I shouldn't be touching a texture artist's
Right.
job, you know? I shouldn't be touching a modeler's job.
Is there any like forward thinking in that? Like, is there any momentum
no.
that's going to be a possibility at all? No.
Like I say, they were outraged in 2013. Went to they were like demonstrating outside of like the Kodak Theater, which is where the Oscars are held, and everybody in solidarity turned their screen monitors to green just to show like for VFX solidarity. What's that going to do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And it sucks because like if one of those guys gets that job, let's say, and does all those things that need to be done, the quality of that is also going to be shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
or compromised at least. Yeah.
But I mean, seniors theoretically should know all that stuff, that they can still do a good job, but they shouldn't have to do those jobs. Like I should be paid for the job that I'm hired for.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And then, so how's the first? It must have just finished this teaching.
As far as the actual teaching and being in class, awesome.
Yeah.
So you became a teacher.
Thankfully I got an opportunity to teach the video games industry course at Fanshawe.
Nice.
Which it's different than film stuff, but the concepts can translate to a certain degree. Like they do things differently, but what I was teaching was digital sculpting, so that's definitely transferable. And I had great students. I mean, they were all at that level, at the college level. I think they paid to be there, so they want to be there. So I think that they're respectful and.
So the students are trying to hypothetically become
get into the video game
industry and create video games or whatever, which is blowing up.
Is there any draw for you?
Well, that's the decision I've got to make. Like, what do I start focusing on? Do I start focusing on more of that just to see if I can get into the
video game?
Right now, I wouldn't be able to because it's still so different, I think.
What would be the other potential avenue, like routes for you to go? I asked this because since the beginning I've had this question in my head, like with like stuff like, because you said when you first out of say high school or early on in university liked making your own projects and like directing. Like
I would still have to make my own film,
but if with YouTube and how like there's a ton of successful just creators that make short films or whatever they are. Do you think that you would have been drawn to something like YouTube and to be able to
I think
create something on that platform if you had that available to you when it was as interesting?
Like I do believe that they're all that's all a product of the time, right? Like, so that's younger people. Like I'm 49, right? This I'm a dinosaur when it comes to that kind of stuff, right?
Mm.
I feel that somebody in my position at 20 years old probably would have had 20 entrepreneurial ideas at this point of what to do, social media wise, get on the internet in some facet or another. That wasn't my world, so I don't know it.
But yeah, like, I guess so. Like you'd even now, like, do you ever think of doing some sort of small projects that like take you back to your roots of what you love to do at that point in your life, as far as whatever it is, like direct and edit a
Well, how can I
commercial
do it?
for?
Right now, it comes down to what do I have to do to make sure I'm sustaining a living.
Of course, yeah, yeah,
Like I can't do passion projects that aren't,
yeah,
gonna put food on the table.
yeah, for sure.
So I've unfortunately held out with hopes for 2 years that this would get going. Like they were so dumb because they had like these cute little slogans back in like 2023 that rhymed, to kind of get us motivated to hold on. Things will get better in 2023. And then they had another one that rhymed in 2024. And then 2025, I can't remember what they were, but 2025 was survive till 25, right? So as long as you survive until 2025, things are going to pick up again. That's been 3 years of those little cute slogans. Cute slogans do nothing.
Yeah. Now
Like
they
Bill's
just,
They're not
like,
gonna put food
it's
on your
same as-
table.
Yeah.
Man,
Do you
that's
have any
shitty.
like small side projects that you work on? Like,
No, what I do in my spare time, Ian, is constantly looking at the new software and the new workflows out there just to kind of see what I need to do to stay on top of things. And the bad thing about that is I don't know which one to do. So I'm jumping around all over the place and, really retaining none of it. Because even now, to get back into the industry after 2 years, I'm sure things have changed as far as what they're doing. I know there's a software called Blender that has been around for a long time, but we never even blinked an eye at it because it's a free software.
yeah.
So studios don't use free software. Well, it's actually getting pretty good.
Yeah, it turns out everyone's
And
using
maybe
it.
it's not as good as the software that we're using, but it's getting pretty damn close.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's free, studios are starting to use it.
And I don't mean to keep bringing it back to this, but like, even if you wanted, if someone came to you today and was like, I want a little short, call it a film or commercial, would you like be able to produce and edit some sort of commercial for someone?
I have the skill set. Yeah, I can totally do it.
I see, because it's like one of those things that is so cliche, but I get that it would be hard to really like, you have to think about, what puts food on the table and all this and all that. But so many people like just eventually say, screw it, and focus on the part that they love, is like just like creating short films or whatever. I just like, it'd be cool to do something for the gym.
Okay.
But I don't know what that entails or anything, but
I'm not I've never been a quote unquote creative person on that side of things. I want people to come to me with their ideas, and then I will translate it for them.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person, because there's a lot of people that are concept people.
So it's not like you're walking around with the camera saying, let's try it this way. And
I'm not in the marketing department, right? Like, you're not a cold medication that comes to me and say, produce a commercial for me and come up with an idea. No, give me the idea and I'll film it for you. That's you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I know
you
there are
need-
people that are really good at that.
You
coming up
need
with
the
a concept.
script.
Yes. Because that's so much added mental capacity.
if it doesn't come just
Yeah,
instantaneously,
exactly.
like, if you're not born that creative switch or whatever. Yeah,
Exactly.
And then it defeats kind of the whole purpose in general of doing it out of just creative passion for the type of people that do it that way. I'm sure.
So that's why, again, it goes back to those directors that when they know what they want,
Yeah.
that's who I want to work with, right? Like, okay, again, a classic story of the film Cats, disaster. But the friggin' director had no clue about visual effects. And when you have a bunch of like CG cats in a movie, like humanized human cats dancing around, the process is that we're going to model them, and then we're going to get them animated and dancing, and we're going to show that to you so that you can sign off on the dance. Is the movement and the motion okay?
Yeah.
You like that? This is all very
Rough draft.
Like everything's gray. Like joints might not even be connected, right?
Yeah.
The director saw it and was like, "What am I seeing here?" He couldn't wrap his head around it. And then from that day forward, he made the studio give him fully rendered
and then change everything he's got to change.
Yeah, exactly. Just at the animation stage with fur and everything. I want to see them dance fully finished because he couldn't visualize it.
If there was like one movie,
Why is he a director?
Exactly. Well, he shouldn't be directing that. That's
Right.
for sure.
if there was one director or like movie that you could have ever worked on, do you have like an all-time favorite that you wish?
Back in the day, it was like I liked the idea of working on, because I like superhero stuff.
Yeah. So you kind of did
I like the
it.
idea of working on Marvel. I would have liked to work on Marvel in a larger capacity.
Yeah.
Just briefly, because what it is at that point is it's the credits. That's
Mhm.
all. That's all that's appealing. Because working those 18-hour days is not appealing.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
So I had much more satisfaction working, like I say, on the TV side of things.
Yeah.
Just because I still had my nights free. I'll tell you, I never, in 10 years that I worked at that studio, it wasn't until the very end when I became a supervisor and I became in charge of other people's stuff. Up until that point, I never ever took my work home with me.
Really?
I had sound sleeps.
Wow.
I remember this. I think this was right when we were together.
Yeah.
Like I remember this actually, that transition where
Yeah.
that started happening, I
And-
think.
Yeah, it was a different feeling that I definitely didn't like. I suddenly wasn't enjoying the job that I always loved.
Because I think even then you were compensated enough to like, these might have been questions that me and you, or conversations that me and you had, where it's like the reward's there, but like then comes this other negative that I'm not sure I want. And then
Like lying in bed at night and suddenly having all these, the hamster wheels churning because you're thinking about work.
it was
That never used
foreign
happen
to
me.
you. Yeah.
I would clock out and that would be done until the next day where I clock in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of work that I want to do. I don't want to be thinking about it because at the end of the day, we're not doctors. We're not saving lives.
Right.
We're making entertainment.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I shouldn't be killing myself to do this.
For
Right.
sure.
Right?
Have you been playing football?
No, I looked yesterday actually to see if the season's starting. And it is starting at the end of the month, but I don't know any.
People here?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can reach out and just.
Did you, I don't know how, maybe last year, like or maybe at the beginning of this, did you ever go back to BC and play in a couple games?
I did.
Have you done that
No,
recently?
I haven't been back since last summer, but
Oh, really?
yeah, every time I go back, they organize some games for me.
That's cool.
I have such a great football network out there. It's just like so many guys playing just constantly. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. And
You know any guys playing around here?
No. Not that I know of.
the good thing about the league out west
Well,
is
is there a league actually?
I don't know.
there's a small
Yeah,
league
is there?
here.
Okay.
I'm going to look on the website now that you remind me. But the league out west, you can get on the website, and if you don't have a team, you can put your name in and say, "I'm looking for a team."
Oh,
and
cool.
people
Yeah,
snatch you
yeah.
up.
Okay.
So you just get exposed to
Yeah.
a lot more
But
opportunities.
it's huge out there. Like when first year I went out there in 2011, my first season out there, between all the different divisions, there was 73 teams.
Oh, wow.
wow.
It's a big league.
That's,
And this year in London's league has 2 divisions, 5 teams in each.
oh, yeah. I mean, it's, you get,
Well,
it's so well
London,
out there.
right?
And then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I used to play here in this league, and it was big back in the day. It just, I don't think younger kids are joining football. So it's all still these old retired guys.
Yeah.
You can see like the
Yeah.
level of play has gone downhill because they're older, but there's no younger
So it's
guys
just
out
like a
there.
men's league?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Full on tackle?
No,
or
no, geez, we need to go to work the next day.
Yeah.
Well, not me, but
Touch.
yeah.
and then how's the guitar hobby been?
I haven't touched it since last summer. I haven't picked up my guitars. since last summer.
Really?
That's disgusting. Yeah.
You got it. Cause he would like design, like redo them all and everything.
Oh,
right?
I thought you meant even just playing. Yeah,
Or both,
I haven't
both,
played
yeah.
my- yeah, no. I was thinking this summer if I'm around here, maybe I should. I've got a bunch of kits that I still need to put together. Yeah.
That'd
So
be
just
cool.
build a guitar or what is
yeah.
it?
Yeah. There you can get kits that are like pre-cut out,
Mhm.
and you do the rest. So you sand them down, paint them.
Any kind of guitar or
Yep.
Okay.
You
Awesome.
know what? I'd buy one. It'd be cool to have one in here on the wall.
Yeah.
Make a HQ version. That would be cool.
That would be.
I'll commission it.
So what's next?
Well, you were talking about this schooling. I enjoyed the schooling, but again, at the college level, I don't know how professors make money.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like I got paid a fantastic hourly wage. I was
And it
only
was-
getting 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
How do you survive off that?
Side get like
You would have to get side gigs,
Yeah.
but like I was,
or
telling-
is that your like do most people do that on the side
right?
of like
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that I could make it work where it gets easier. Because I was telling you that I was still putting in 50 hours a week with all the prep. And
yeah
marketing,
yeah
right?
that's the part about it that's
So now that I've done it once, if I did that course again, hopefully it wouldn't be that much
Yeah.
time devoted to it. So you could get a side
mhm.
piece, but if it was a studio, studios don't want to give you up. Like if I had to like say, oh, can I get Fridays off because I teach
Mhm.
at the college? They need you there when they
Yeah,
need you
yeah,
there. You know,
yeah.
they don't want to. So I don't know how that would work.
And you're still looking constantly for
yeah,
the studio work,
yeah,
film industry, TV.
yeah, and still trying to sharpen my skills and learn new skills with the video game industry. See if I can even, transition to that.
Do you play video games?
No, I'm terrible at them.
Yeah,
And it's probably because I'm terrible at them. I don't enjoy them.
really. Yeah,
But he makes them.
yeah,
Or
but that
technically
love the art.
It doesn't
Yeah.
translate. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. Like, the art is what draws me to that. And creating the stuff is very appealing. But if you need somebody that's a diehard gamer, then I'm not your guy.
yeah. I don't know if that would. Yeah, I couldn't.
It's so crazy, man. Like a resume working for Marvel and stuff that you can't get into an industry and have a job. That's,
Well, it just goes to show the
it's
state
wild.
of the industry.
And how many incredible artists are out there? And
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like I said, 100,000 of us across the world, and
Damn.
there's ones that, like, out of 100,000, there's probably 900 or 99,000 that are better than me. You know what I'm saying? Like more experience.
Well, don't sell
Yeah.
yourself short, but
Yeah,
like
probably not.
There's like
you've
Elite.
been in the game for a long
I
time,
have,
right?
But I mean, there's
it's
also
like-
people that have been in the game for 25 years that are in my
There's
same
a
position.
lot of
Right.
qualified people out
Yes,
there without
exactly.
work.
Yeah, and they're gonna go snatch them up first, right?
right.
So I gotta wait my turn if it's gonna happen. The unfortunate thing is I gotta make a decision as to how long I'm gonna. Like I've been holding out.
Yeah.
I just talked to my sister the other day. She was like, "You got to make a decision eventually. Like, you got to pull the trigger. What are you gonna do
Yeah,
if it means?"
Man, that's so shitty.
100%. I
Yeah.
never thought I'd have to change my career.
Right.
Maybe I have to. If it, right now I'm still, thankfully I did well enough that I had a pretty good nest egg of savings.
Yeah.
So I'm still living off of that. But when that runs out,
yeah, and it's the people like you want to feel just going back to the whole just a human in general purpose and doing something you enjoy
I
doing.
wanna,
you know?
exactly. I want to make sure I'm going into work every day and
Looking
and-
forward to
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm also going to definitely wages are getting cut, right? People that are
Mhm.
getting hired now are not getting paid the same that we were
Yeah.
prior to
Right.
this. So
See, that's so shitty, man. The movie business, man. It's cutthroat.
what other? I'm trying to think of other like video games. Is there any, what other like industries would kind of translate?
I've looked at
into-
all of them. Like, so there's like architectural visualization.
Yeah.
Right? Architects kind of make 3D models and whatnot. Advertising, but they're all very much sticklers about hiring people that are in that
Yeah.
world already. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because they're very particular about how things are done, and you got to use this software, you got to
Mhm.
use this workflow. So if you just came to me and said, can you build me this building for an architecture visualization? Yes, I can. Can you do it?
in this
We're-
format with this
Yeah.
process and
Yeah.
whatever.
No. If your studio is using this software, I would have to learn it.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
And there's so many softwares.
100%.
Wow.
I was learning a new software every year at my company just to
Mm.
stay on top of the game. Like, because we were changing, it's called a pipeline. We're changing our pipeline every year
Hmm.
because
What
the
do you-
industry is changing so quickly.
What do you watch just in general?
That's what I was thinking about when you called today, because we used to talk all the time about our shows that we
TV
watch.
shows we're
Are
watching.
you
and
watching
everything?
anything good, Ian? Like,
I just started the last season of You.
Okay, I've never even seen an episode.
It's okay. I mean, it's not. What are you watching? Severance?
I'm watching Severance.
What
right
kind of
now.
stuff
People
do
have
you?
recommended that to me. You know what I'm doing? I'm going back and watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say The Office. Yeah.
Oh, I've done that multiple times
I
too.
know.
It's just like you go back to the things that you enjoyed that were good because right now they're releasing shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Jade started watching the one with. I actually don't know. I just seen it. It's the one where he gets divorced and he starts robbing the houses in the neighborhood.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, The Friendly Neighbor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
never
yeah,
heard of
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
It's I don't know. I just caught a few episodes of it, but yeah, I mean, every 9 out of 10 shows now, you're like, it's okay, but
There's not any that are like, whoa.
I don't know.
There's
There's
What
been
was-
a couple. Like I go and watch shows with my sister every
Mhm.
Friday. That's our thing. And so there was a couple that we really enjoyed, but because again, the streaming style and platform, you watch your show over 10 weeks, and then you got like a full
Yeah,
year
yeah,
before
yeah.
everything
Right,
comes back.
right,
Right?
yeah.
So we watched Slow Horses was really good.
I never heard that.
Oh,
one.
I heard
you guys
of
gotta watch
that
that. There's
one, I
4
think.
seasons. Watch
Four
it.
seasons? What is it called?
It's called Slow Horses. It's
Slow
about
Horses.
the
I just heard
British MI5. So
Oh,
the-
wow. Okay,
but
cool.
it's about the kind of misfits. So they kind of put them off into their own office.
Someone was just
So
telling
was
me
that
about
is that
Gary
done?
Oldman, yeah.
Yeah, Gary, yeah,
It's
that's
really
sick.
good. It's really
So
good.
is it finished? Like, are they coming out with new
No,
seasons?
they're coming out with a new season. I don't know when, but they've got 4 out right now.
Okay. See, that's what I like. I like shows that are either complete, done,
So yeah, you don't have to wait.
so I don't have to wait, and I just crush
What
it.
was the one Black Mirror? Have you
Black
watched
Mirror
the-
just came out with a new season.
Really?
Yeah.
Still going, eh?
Yeah, it's very like stresses you out.
I was watching. So 2 years ago, whatever, when Arcane came out,
Arcane, yes. I heard about that
it
one.
was really good.
Yeah.
Art style incredible.
Yeah.
Loved it. I won't watch season 2 because it's been 2 years.
I
don't
know.
I don't even remember what season
I
1 was
know.
about,
Yeah.
and I'm not even interested anymore. You know,
Yeah.
like
What was that other one? You know, it's not that new, but
we watched that show with Kate Hudson.
This one?
Running Point, yeah.
yeah. Jade watched that one. Probably all the ones that Soph's watched. Jade's watched.
There's also one
Yellowstone.
on
Do you like that type of stuff? Did you watch? What was the other one?
Landman?
Yeah. Did you watch
I
Landman?
don't know, what is that? I've heard of it.
It's like the oil rig one. It's like Yellowstone, but oil business.
Oh,
It's pretty good.
Blacklist,
you know
man.
what,
That's a classic. I liked watching that one.
I don't like those same shows, same formula, different
Yeah,
shows.
It is
Yeah.
very formulaic.
This one was. Did you watch The Resident?
We did. We just finished it.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No, I gotta watch that.
But I didn't like how it wrapped up.
I know it's
no
it's just
spoilers.
like
no spoilers.
Okay. I'm late to the game, but I'm just now watching Better Call Saul.
I think I
awesome.
only watched the first season of it.
I love that show.
He's great, but
Yeah.
my issue with it, Ennis, is that he's kind of taken a back seat to his own show. I think the more interesting show is the drug storyline,
Right.
whereas the lawyer stuff is not that interesting to me.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I get it. Yeah.
I've had
I
people to
understand.
say that, got to watch Better Call Saul. It's better than Breaking Bad. I'm like,
No.
No,
out of your mind?
it's not better. Whoever said that it's
Yeah,
better,
are
like,
you
come
out
on,
of your
relax,
mind?
chill.
Sisu was the best movie I watched.
Oh,
in
you
the
did?
last-
You liked it, eh?
Sisu
the
was awesome.
movie?
I haven't watched it. It's the kind of not. I don't want to say it's not revenge, but
Yeah, watch
Well,
it.
it
It's
kind-
it's
it's
like
kind-
it's
yeah.
like a better 300.
okay.
It's sick.
I'll check.
It's
it
a
out then.
pretty gory.
Is it dubbed? It's not dubbed, right? It's
No.
English.
It is the original. I think is either Swedish or something, something like that.
But when
I
they
think.
move their lips, it looks like they're moving English.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
speak,
don't
right?
remember it being
No, it is not like
with this guy.
Yeah, he's a badass.
yeah
right?
Finnish.
But it's not dubbed. Maybe like
Yeah, it is. Like I watched the original.
you're telling me
like,
this guy is dubbed in this movie?
Yeah, you like when I watched it with subtitles and they were like
Oh,
speaking different language.
Well, maybe the guys that spoke different languages in the movie, like the Germans. This guy, when he talks, he's talking English.
they filmed it twice.
I
Could you
don't
imagine?
know, maybe. But like when I watched it, it was definitely like not dubbed, but I like watching it the original version. Check it, Google it. What's the original version?
Oh, they got a new John Wick coming out
No.
too, eh?
The
Oh,
new
they
one.
do.
What's it called? Wick something? Wick?
It's Ballerina.
No. There's a different one. It rhymes with Wick. It's 2 words. Wick something. I just saw it on YouTube yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
I don't even know if this guy says anything the whole movie.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, you got to watch this movie.
Yeah, this
movie
is a
sick.
pretty intense movie.
But I want to know now, John Wick, which one? Like, I know there's a
Go to
new
IMDb and just look up Keanu Reeves, see what he's got coming up.
great actor.
I don't like those movies though. I don't see the appeal.
Which one? The Wick
John Wick
movies?
movies, yeah.
No, I do enjoy those. I like action movies.
Did you watch the? How did I just bring me to Amazon? How am I looking at a Phillips?
Gotta shave that beard. Dude.
No, yeah,
that's
this.
what I'm telling you.
How you spell Keanu?
Right there.
There you go. He is loved.
Oh
in
yeah,
Hollywood.
this.
Really?
He's known as
John
the
Wick
nicest man in Hollywood.
chapter. No.
Well,
Keep going down.
Keep
Go down
going
to see his new
down.
movies, upcoming stuff. Upcoming. Click on upcoming up top. See it under actor. Isn't there something?
Just this one. The
That's the
World of
one.
Wick.
From the
maybe
World
that's
of
what it
Wick,
was. Maybe-
of John Wick Ballerina. That's it's coming out, I think, in May.
Oh, okay. So who's Ballerina? Is that a character? A different
I
character?
just
from the
saw.
show?
I thought I just saw a trailer for it. This
It's
one.
I want to say it's his daughter
His
for
daughter.
some reason, or like someone who's, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I have no idea.
Star Wars. Speaking of Donnie Yen, Star Wars is a dead franchise now. Like
100% agreed. Horrible.
Maybe that's why
They
Fortnite's
they make
going
they
Star
make
Wars.
they make the Star Wars and it's identical to the ones that are like original. Like, come on,
talk about just bastardizing it.
right? That's what I mean. It's like, why would you do this? But then it's like the George Lucas just sell it off to Disney once again, and then they just messed it up.
Yeah, 100%. Like Star Wars hasn't made a profit under Disney
Right.
as a franchise.
And it's like, why is just Disney driving all these like good movies and storylines just to the ground? I don't understand.
Have you guys heard of Hollywood accounting? Have you heard that term?
No.
Something that's known in the industry as well, where ridiculousness. They say that the most creative people in Hollywood are the accountants because they find these ways on paper to make it look like movies don't make money.
Yeah.
So that they don't have to, because right now a system for paying your talent is through net profit sharing.
So they just keep it all, and
they make it look like a movie didn't make any net profit so that they don't have to
Wow.
pay anybody. So to this day, on
Scammers.
paper, 100%, it should be illegal. On paper, to this day, Return of the Jedi has never made
no way.
money.
That's crazy.
That's unbelievable. Oh,
Harry Potter
Havoc.
and
That's the
the
other one.
Goblet of Fire or something like that, which made over $1 billion, has not turned a profit. Basically.
Crazy.
wow.
It's so
I
that
seen
they
that
have to
one.
pay.
I seen the
It was
Havoc one.
silly.
It was
Talk about that. They need a. Maybe that's what the next superhero is like a Harry Potter remake.
well,
you
they're
can't
making a
because
show,
Everybody hates J.K. Rowling, right? So-
but they're making a show. Harry Potter.
That's
show.
right,
that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I want to watch that.
I would. So here's another one since we have a movie guy here. Break a leg. Where does the term come from? Do you
It's-
know it?
It's from theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you make the cast, that's why you say, when you go for the cast or for the casting, break a leg. So if you make a cast, you're in a cast. You broke a leg. Google it.
That makes no sense.
So if you make the cast of a production,
yeah,
Right.
exactly. He tries to pull you in as if you're gonna
Break a
validate
leg,
what he's
man.
saying.
okay,
This guy.
yeah, because it's bad luck to say good luck or good show type thing.
Yeah, you say
Whereas,
break a leg
Yeah.
every time they go for like an audition or whatever.
But they also say it when you've already been cast and you have your first show. So that's superstition.
Hmm.
You're half right.
Okay.
This doesn't say
80% right.
no.
80%.
Good luck. Yeah, that's like it's used in any terminology to say like good luck.
Sure, but
basically.
where does it originate from?
No one's saying anything about you get on the cast here, so I'll give you half right.
All right, sure. I get half.
What was I gonna say before that?
Make a crazy superhero movie of Harry Potter.
No. Oh, I don't remember. Havoc, and then we started talking about I don't know.
Have you seen Havoc?
Yeah,
I
it's-
have, yeah.
Is that
It's
his
like
name?
John Wick. Yeah,
Dude, I watched the Kill Tony on Netflix.
Oh, that's what
the
I was
other
gonna
day.
ask.
Holy shit, that shit was
do you watch
funny.
stand up
No.
or anything like that? There's
That
a
was
new one out.
hilarious. Well, the one that you told me about on Netflix.
Because it was supposed to come out every week, I thought, but I don't think. Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Well, they
Kill
come
Tony?
out every
Yeah.
week on YouTube. The Kill Tony.
I know, but even in
I find
the
that they're vicious. Like they've got it. They got a clique, and they're vicious to people that aren't in the clique. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if based on what they said in that first one, they didn't like Netflix seems to kind of allow you to do whatever, but it's wild. the
I was
stuff they
surprised
say
that they
on
were
it.
allowed to have that on Netflix.
Yeah.
Even generally when they talk, like if you just listen to their podcasts in general, they just seem very cliquish. Like you'll watch Tom Segura's podcast, and he's a dick to people that aren't in
His circle
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
comedy circle, right?
Bert Kreischer.
But it's funny that you talk about stand up. I have watched a couple of Nate Bargatze's ones recently.
Yeah, he's funny.
I like him because he's clean and he's
Yeah.
funny. You know, like that's a rare.
That if you want
Talent.
some Kill Tony, that one was
Kill
so
Tony
funny.
was funny. I watched it actually on Sunday. It was hilarious.
It's funny.
You know, I was watching.
Con Mom. Did you see this one?
No.
Jesus.
That one was
that Dre?
crazy. No, it's a documentary.
I was watching the Rich Eisen show. I don't know if you know him. He's a sports guy,
Yeah, Rich Eisen.
I
Yeah.
know.
and he has celebrities on sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And
Because
he had Seinfeld on.
He was big in the NFL Network or whatever, and I think he went away from there to do his own show. I think.
Yeah, he's
The
got
Rich Eisen's
like a
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But he's big. He runs. He's the big host of the NFL Combine.
Right. Yeah.
But he'll have celebrities on and interview them. And he did Seinfeld. And what do you guys think about Seinfeld?
The show,
Well, the show is incredible. so-
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, so a lot of people just don't think he's funny in stand up and whatnot.
I think he is. I
Yeah.
find him funny.
Mm.
But he's one of those clean comedians.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had a realization when he was talking because Rich was getting him to talk about certain situations in the show Seinfeld and how they came up with them and everything. And when you hear Seinfeld talk, that man understands comedy, the science of comedy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he tells you exactly why something is funny
Mhm.
and why this word punctuated here is funnier than this word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
See, that's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
And
the
even
thought
pause
process.
breaks and stuff
Yes.
like that. Like, when to
stuff
take a
that
breath.
you've never heard
yeah.
other comedians talk about. Like he gets the science of it.
Yeah.
That's why he's a genius.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, my favorite's like Steve Carell is probably one of my favorite. Like,
He's so natural. What did we just watch with him recently? Oh, we just started watching his new show, 4 Seasons.
oh, we did
4
too.
seasons,
I think.
heard of it.
It's not really a comedy though, but it's got a bunch of comedians on it.
Yeah, yeah. What's he doing? That? What's his?
He's the guy that they're all friends with, and he breaks up with his long-term partner and gets a new young squeeze.
I think I remember that. I always catch Jade watch, and then it's
4 seasons.
do you use Chat GPT a lot
I've never been on
Really?
AI anything.
out of
Out of principle.
Solidarity,
Yeah, out of
yeah.
principle and not just that, but I also look, we're being robbed of our privacy. I don't want to give it away for free.
Yeah,
Like this thing knows everything about you as soon as you're on it now.
Yeah.
So it probably knows what's in your wallet.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
It knew you needed a shave. That's why.
Well, that's why I put it.
why
I was just
razor.
gonna say that literally.
Yeah, we're all screwed.
Like everything we're talking about right now, we're gonna have advertisements on our phone.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow. It's like that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you'll get job offers.
Yeah. yeah.
That won't be disgusting.
Oh, it's funny. Well, what else you got?
I wanna hear the story about Iron Man. Earlier, you were gonna say a story
Oh,
about
I
Iron Man.
was just thinking like because I don't know if you remember Robert Downey's trajectory before that.
Well, he was
He-
in jail,
in jail.
drug addict.
He got fired from
alcoholic.
Ally McBeal
Yeah.
a few years before because they had to let him go because he was having drug issues and
Yeah.
everything. Went to prison, and Marvel, not only did they take a chance with casting him, but really latching your whole franchise to the character of Iron Man, who, yeah, we all know Iron Man, but he's not like a tentpole of Marvel.
True.
Right.
He's not Spider-Man. He's not the Hulk. You know, he's
Right,
not.
right.
You know, let's build our franchise on this Iron Man character.
Right.
And it worked.
It worked, but I think it worked largely because of Robert Downey Jr.
100%.
Right.
I agree. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I was, Iron
Were
Man
they
still,
gonna-
I'd still put on an Iron Man show and have the exact same like feelings.
Yeah.
Like I love it just as much every
so
single
charismatic,
time.
just
Yeah.
so lovable.
Yeah.
Were they supposed to cast somebody else for Iron Man?
I don't know.
Can you Google that? I want to know. Because who were they supposed to cast for The Matrix? I think, wasn't it Will Smith that was
Yes.
supposed to be Neo in The Matrix?
But Will Smith turned it down because he read the script and said he was not right for the part.
Tom
And when he
Cruise.
saw what Keanu did with it, he admittedly says he would have ruined the film if he did it.
Tom Cruise.
We're supposed to do.
Iron Man?
They probably put Tom Cruise up for everything though.
True.
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell, wow.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh God. Get
And
him
this,
outta
how
here.
long would it go? Would this have been?
Clive Owen, eh? Wow.
Hugh Jackman, get serious. Speaking of Timothy Oliphant, did you guys watch Justified? Have you ever seen that?
Justified, no.
Where he plays a U.S. Marshal? That's a great show.
I think I have. Oh, you like this?
There's no way Leonardo DiCaprio went over Iron Man. Come on.
No, I mean, honestly, the
Which one?
Robert Downey was the key.
Yeah,
To
man,
the
he
whole-
embodies it, right? Like,
Yeah,
even physically looks like the character.
right.
No, I don't think I've seen this. Why was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
6 seasons.
Got that. Oh,
Oh,
look at
wow.
the Rotten Tomato score, both audience and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
that Walton Goggins right there. He plays the villain in it. He's fantastic.
Yes, that guy. He's in Fallout.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Fallout. You should watch. Great show.
So you're a big superhero
I
comic.
love
Yeah, yeah.
superhero comics.
So it's like very disappointing what's happening right now, man.
It is. It is. Yeah, I mean, once it was done with the end game, it was just a downfall. You could definitely tell the downfall of it, which was, unfortunate, because I literally used to look forward to going to the theaters and watching these movies, even like Superman, right?
That's the new big one gonna. They're saying that, first of all, for DC, that's gonna make or break them this year. But they're saying that Superman is what is gonna make or break the superhero genre. If it fails, then we're kind of done.
Which one?
Well, I think it's gonna
Superman?
fail
Yeah.
right now. The new one that's gonna come out that
yeah.
has a dog in it. Like, come on, man. And then,
Stupid.
like, I think Henry Cavill, he didn't want to do the Superman
Oh,
anymore.
he did.
Oh, he did.
What's his name? Didn't want to bring him back. James Gunn.
Wow.
And the fans were pretty outraged by it because they loved Henry Cavill.
Right. Oh,
Thunder-
he
what's-
was the Superman. Just
The new
like
guy looks good,
just
though.
like Iron Man was Robert
Yeah,
Downey
yeah.
Jr. This guy was Superman.
I think the new guy looks good though. He's got a
Yeah,
good look. If
yeah.
you've seen him.
Avengers.
Avengers Doomsday, right? So it's like, yeah, it's got the full cast of everyone in it, but
But look at who the Avengers are though. Like, you're gonna first of all, Anthony Mackie, is that Captain America? Is
Man.
whatever. Florence
the new
Pugh,
Captain
like,
America trash.
You saw it. I
the
haven't
red
seen it. I
the
haven't
Red
seen it.
Hulk. Come on, like, dude, you bring out a character like that and you have him in a movie for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and then Captain America, who doesn't even have Captain America, whatever the serum in him.
Yeah, but
Be-
he's got the vibranium suit, though,
Right,
So
like, that's what I
serious.
mean. It's trash.
it's trash. Like,
Stop making trash movies.
if you bring the Hulk back for this Avengers movie, you gotta take his fucking intellect away again, because that
Right,
smart Hulk is stupid.
right,
Yeah.
stupid. Like, they and then this is what I mean. They come out with the She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
that
F
was-
is that?
but also
Why?
how she outdid the Hulk at every turn. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Dude,
she was
the
better at
Hulk-
everything.
My favorite Hulk was Edward Norton when he
Mine
played
too.
the Hulk.
And that was a good movie.
Amazing. Like that guy, he played that character so good. And that was my favorite Hulk.
Yeah, he was. It's a shame that they didn't continue with him. There's two sides. He's got his side, which when you hear him talk about it, I mean, you understand his side, but then the other side is that he was really difficult.
Right. Yeah. What was the first Marvel movie? Can you guess that?
First one ever?
Ever that came out?
Oh man, I remember 1990, the Fantastic Four movie that by Roger Corman that didn't actually make it to cinema. It was on VHS and like dark web type stuff. Like you had to struggle to get a copy of it.
Blade, I believe.
Oh, that was 1998. Yeah,
1990.
that's what they attribute. Actually, X-Men to starting the modern superhero.
Right.
But Blade came out before that.
Yeah. Blade
Blade
came
was
out.
an awesome movie.
That was an awesome movie that I think, in my opinion, was the first Marvel.
Howard the Duck. What's that?
That's technically a Marvel movie. As well.
Yeah, technically.
I mean, you watched it when you were a kid, so I liked it, but
Yeah.
it's really panned.
What's that one?
Howard the
Howard
Duck.
What is it?
Didn't
They
they
make
make
the girl
a
from Back to the Future in it, right? If I remember. Or even ChatGPT, why don't you look at pictures?
Didn't they make a game out of it?
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Why can I not visualize it?
Well, you were reborn, Ian.
91.
Oh, see, it was out before you were born.
Yeah, but I just feel like
Yeah.
Were you reborn, Ennis?
87. I had to think about that. I remember this.
I don't at all.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie that disappeared quickly
Yeah.
in the 80s.
But when Blade came out, that was the starting point. I was like, yeah, everybody's like, yeah, Iron Man, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, have you ever watched Blade?
Yeah. Well, it was good because it was serious, right? Like,
Oh, hard.
They
Like
had
Wesley
troubles.
Snipes
Yeah.
played a great
that opening
role.
scene in the meat locker. Or
Right,
the,
yeah.
oh,
Opening
Jesus.
scene. A rave party. This random guy just shows up. Girl brings him in, a
I
vampire.
haven't seen Blade.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've
Oh,
seen
I was
Blade.
gonna
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
And then he just comes in and just starts
Daywalker.
Daywalker.
But even before that, it was such a struggle to get a superhero movie that people took seriously. Because before that, you forget Michael Keaton's Batman was 1989.
Right.
And then they went how many years
Without
anything.
until Blade came out, right?
Right. That was the DC Batmans. My favorite Batman, definitely Christian Bale.
You know what? Not for me.
Not for you?
No, he played the best Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He didn't play the best Batman.
Who played the best Batman?
Michael Keaton.
Okay.
As far as embodying the
Yeah.
character, because Michael Keaton hardly had any lines when he was in the costume,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what Batman is. You know, Batman
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
talk. You know,
Yeah.
but I really, as if Zack Snyder didn't direct it, I think Ben Affleck could have been an incredible Batman.
Yeah.
He looked awesome in the suit.
He did. Yeah.
But Zack Snyder's a hack.
Have you watched this podcast on Joe Rogan?
Who's
Zack Snyder.
Oh,
he was
he's
on.
so full of himself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ridiculous.
Recently?
No, this was
I'm sure I've
months
seen
ago.
it then.
He
Yeah.
makes assumptions about Rebel Moon being like the best movie on Netflix because of its viewership and something.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
Zack Schneider.
Zack Schneider. He
I
did the
actually-
300.
I didn't like that movie either.
No.
Visually, it looked good, but
Yeah. It's crazy
a great
because they
storyteller.
that was all green screen, right?
yeah. You know, the one thing I do got to give him credit for, he did The Watchmen, which I thought was really good.
Watchmen was awesome. Yeah.
No, I don't. That doesn't look familiar. Maybe I do. I think I do.
Watchmen was great. I enjoyed that one.
Oh, a year ago.
Yeah, that
Maybe.
was
I
long.
don't know.
Yeah,
Doesn't
long ago.
matter.
You know, we're talking Batman. We're forgetting. I think Robert Pattinson did really good in the last one.
Good point. Yeah.
He plays that dark, brooding.
Yes, he
Batman.
does. Yeah. I can't wait for the new one.
Yeah, They're taking their time with that one, eh?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Penguin? I heard that was really good.
Yes.
Yes, I watched
I liked
Penguin.
it.
That
I
was
gotta catch
great.
up on it.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
Yeah.
a good one to
it's
watch.
gonna link the two stories, right?
But it's
So-
crazy how that was one of the better things I've watched, and like, and if you hadn't have said that, I would have just forgot all about
So
it.
like it pretty much happens right after the flood.
Okay.
In when the Batman
Okay,
ends,
yeah.
the flood happens, and then that just literally starts right after
Right.
the Penguin. Yeah,
How good was Colin Farrell?
awesome.
It's a good
Can't even
one.
tell it's him.
Yeah. That was definitely one of the better ones I've watched.
He's a great
but-
actor. I like him. Yeah, definitely.
He's another guy. It's good to see him getting more work again because for a while he got that attitude on set where he was difficult to work with, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so he didn't get some roles for a while.
Well, Christian Bale had a fallout on Terminator,
Yes.
and
You've
it
heard that?
leaked.
You heard that?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty brutal.
yeah, it leaked. He was just went off.
He had everybody defending him though.
Yeah.
When it happened.
In general, favorite actors.
Back in the day, I don't know now who would be, but like back in the day, I always thought Mel Gibson could act anybody out of a,
Mhm.
Yeah,
he was so natural.
yeah,
And unfortunately, he started saying some shit in public
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
that got him kind of blacklisted. But
He was on Rogan recently too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was.
so, yeah, I
Yeah,
might watch
yeah.
that one.
yeah.
But I loved him in Lethal Weapons. And
Oh yeah. He did the Mad Max.
oh, awesome.
Awesome. Yeah,
That was a disappointment for me, the new Mad Maxes.
yeah.
I was really excited for Tom Hardy to see him do it. And I
Right.
found that, again, he took a back seat to his own movie. Like, it was more Furiosa's movie.
Right.
Yeah. And the fact
Once
that
again, why?
yeah.
Right.
Why exactly?
But no, Mel Gibson, those old Mad Maxes. Oh my goodness.
Especially the first one where it was still like, starting with the second one, and the third one got right out to lunch. But the first one was still rooted in some kind of sanity, right?
Right.
Like there were still cops
Right.
on the verge of post-apocalyptic world, but
Yeah.
yeah, so cool.
Yeah. Mel Gibson, man. Braveheart. He was in it, right?
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's funny because I didn't like Braveheart when I first saw it, but then I watched it again. I was like, what was I thinking? This movie's incredible.
Yeah.
But in that vein, I thought Gladiator was way better.
And Gladiator was epic.
I think I saw Gladiator 3 times in the theater.
Yeah.
Like
We watched.
now I
it.
can't go to the theater even once, but I go.
Have you been to the theater at all recently?
No.
Like in the last
No, last thing I saw was the Batman. So whenever that was out,
while ago?
2 years
What
ago at
did I
least.
watch? Dune, I think, was the last one I watched. Dune 2.
Yeah.
Dune Part 2. I
You know,
think that was the last one.
here's an issue I've got with a lot of movies now. I'm not going to say that I didn't like Dune, but it wasn't memorable for me.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it wasn't enough to get me to watch the second one.
mm,
Like, I find that these movies are just so uneventful.
Yeah.
Nothing is gripping anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the state of the.
Yeah. But also, if you're going and with the intent of making a movie that's going to be cut up so that I can watch multiple movies, like it was, I was pissed off at the end of the first Dune that there was really no resolution. I was like, I just watched 2 hours of this. I knew the movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes. And at the 2 hour, 10-minute mark, I was like,
Get
how
to
is this
it.
movie going to wrap
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
Because we're running out of time here.
Yeah.
And it didn't wrap up.
Right.
It just left it right open for the,
Right,
I'm like,
yeah.
no, now I'm angry. I'm not watching the second one.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like, so did you like it?
I did enjoy it. I even watched the TV show, which I didn't enjoy so much. It wasn't like, oh, it's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, failure again.
What's the last time you were in the theater?
Oh, probably something for Tatum.
Oh, okay. So you're going still.
Maybe here and there, just for something to do if we don't have it. Like, no, yeah, maybe once every couple months. But
I'll probably go watch the Wick movie in the theaters. What else is coming out? Oh yeah, they have the new Marvel movie coming out. Those what's it called?
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
It's out already, right? Isn't it?
I don't know. It was just on there.
See, that's another thing. I would have loved to look forward going to that, and I really don't care.
Here's the downside of A, not going to the theater, and B, losing cable. we don't know what movies are coming out and what's interesting because we don't see advertisements.
Yeah.
Right.
Like these movies could be great on Netflix.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But they all look cheese because the first place I see them is Netflix.
Right.
It must have just come out on Friday.
I heard it's shit.
Thunderbolts? Well, I figured. I mean, that's what I literally am going into these movies. It's like, it's going to be trash.
But I like her a lot. I think that Florence Pugh girl is a good actress.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But they question whether or not that character can sustain, like, because she's supposed to be the head of the team, right?
Right.
She's no Black Widow.
I thought
Really, who's Scarlett Johansson? Who's gonna fill that
live up
jumpsuit?
to that.
I thought Bucky was going to be the
That's
team
what
leader.
the fans wanted.
Yeah.
And
He should have been.
Yeah, according to the comics.
Yeah.
But again,
Man,
let's
Winter
play
Soldier,
identity
man.
politics.
Winter Soldier, awesome. When he faces off Captain America, oh my God. He just catches the shield and he's like, incredible scene. You don't have those scenes anymore, man.
There's
Why?
I think it's Winter Soldier, if I'm not mistaken. It's a great shot. It just looks fantastic. Where they're doing the car chase. Is it that one or is it the third one, Civil War, where there's a car chase and they're going underneath like one of those underground bridges.
Yeah, yeah.
And the car gets, I think, maybe rocketed from behind and it starts tumbling.
Tumbling,
It tumbles, and as it flips up, Steve Rogers runs out in stride.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic looking shot. It just looks so natural. Like they did a really good job on it.
Man, I love those movies, man. I do. But unfortunate, they're just downhill, man.
Yeah.
Sucks.
But that whole 15-year arc was a great storyline.
Yes.
It was leading to something huge and it was a good payoff.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
And it's crazy because like that, you got to wrap your head around that. It's like from day one, from Iron Man, they had it all planned out 15 years.
I question. I wonder if they did. I wonder if that happened and then they thought we might be onto something. And so they started
That's
developing.
a good point.
Then.
Yeah.
So yeah, you think there's I guess that's what brings us back to the others. Like, what do they have, or what's the next 10 years? What's the next big?
I don't know. Hopefully X-Men come
Superhero.
out
But
or
it's-
like
it-
across X-Men and Avengers. I don't know.
You know, unfortunately, I think I'm in a lone boat when I say this because it doesn't seem like the public wants it. But I'm more excited over a new Star Trek movie over anything else.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Just
I want to see Star Trek with that cast in another movie before they're too old and done. Like,
The Star Trek one that I enjoyed is with Benedict Cumberbatch, I
That's a good one.
believe.
people knock that one just because it's a ripoff of the original series movie.
I enjoyed that one. That was a great one.
Even the first one with that cast, I thought was incredible.
Yeah.
well,
No. We'll see.
maybe it'll be Thunderbolt.
Highly doubt that, man. Highly doubt that.
You got anything else? Anything else you like that is
This is great. I
cool?
enjoyed chatting with you guys.
No,
Cool,
this was
fun
awesome,
facts.
man. Like from now on, I'm literally gonna come up every time I see you. I'm probably just gonna stop working out with Ange. Let's talk about Marvel, man. Let's talk about this shit.
Well, now I got to go watch all these bad movies just to catch up, right?
Right.
Well,
I don't
you
even
go
know.
to-
Like I don't even know what phase Marvel. I mean, what is that?
I think this is phase 6 now. Phase 5 was the streaming stuff, right? So now they're going into phase 6, I believe.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
It must be true. I don't know. They went from streaming shows to like now to phase 6 to movies. Is that what it's?
Yeah. But all the stuff from phase 5, which was the streaming shows, I haven't seen. So you kind of
Right.
need that stuff to understand what's going on here.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. And it just
Ooh.
it
A lot
sucks
to
to
watch.
watch.
Yeah.
Do you use any like? What do you consume most of it on Netflix, or do you have?
Now I do
on there,
because
like,
all the other free sites
yeah,
have gotten really bad lately.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they've caught on and just
Had you tried the Apollo one?
my brother-in-law purchased it but never got it going.
Oh,
So I don't know if he just sucked up it was like he bought it for $100 for the year.
Yeah, and he just
Probably
didn't renew it or something. Yeah.
But we never even used it because he couldn't get it going. So
Really? I'll show you. It's really easy.
Well,
Yeah.
they need to start pumping out more movies. Before they
Do
used
they?
to pump out
Oh,
every
movies.
every 10 days there'll be like 3-4 coming out. Now you
Yeah.
wait like a month and like nothing new comes out. It's like, why isn't the new Venom out? It's been
Okay.
already out,
that's a shit movie, dude.
right? See,
It's shit.
Failure.
Did you watch it?
no.
Oh my god, it's a joke. It's so juvenile. It's not even funny.
See,
You got him going.
and that's
Yeah.
such a crazy character too.
So
It's like, dude,
juvenile. It's like what I question what these filmmakers are that are doing this, and why is somebody giving them millions to make this shit? Like it is. I feel like a clown walking around with a mallet bopping people on the head. That's what the equivalent of watching
Right.
that is. Like, yep, you know, like
I don't think I've watched it.
it's ridiculous. It does
Actually, speaking
such
of watching
stupid
it, not the Leafs game's on. Do you watch hockey?
No. Football guy.
who's your favorite team? Football.
The Niners.
Niners, nice. Yeah, I like 49ers.
Do you watch football?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who's your team?
College, I like
I don't like
LSU.
college, yeah.
Yeah, SEC college.
Yeah.
I love watching college. But I do like the 49ers. I go back and forth. 49ers, Buffalo. But those two teams I
want to see Josh Allen do well.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him get a ring, but right now I want to see my team get a ring first.
yeah, I know.
I was hoping that Buffalo went to the Super Bowl and won it last year.
Yeah, me too. I wanted Lamar Jackson actually to win Baltimore to win.
Not me.
I
can't
I
stand
do
Baltimore.
like
I
I
can't
do
stand
like
Lamar Jackson.
Baltimore.
Oh no way.
I do like Baltimore.
Oh, it's been on for a while. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
probably started at 7.
At least 4-3.
Yeah, third period. Gotta see if what I picked on this game.
Ben?
Yeah, a little bit. I actually can't remember if I did on this.
Are you doing it through Proline or what?
Just FanDuel.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There's
Talk
so
about
many.
another issue, eh? Like they're so full of shit with this, like know your limit, play within it.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Like,
Bullshit.
They do not care. Like
No. Why would they
gambling
care?
is up like astronomical numbers among youth.
100% it is.
Right.
Ever since you could get it on your phone, man. Like,
They were talking about a situation, a kid in the U.S. and the parents didn't even realize he was maxing out their credit cards and even somehow ended up losing their house because of his
wild.
gambling. Like,
Yeah. Because it's addicting, man.
but yeah, know your limit, guys.
I remember when I was in university, we used to go to like corner store just to get Proline.
Yeah, that's
Right?
what we
Yeah.
used to do.
Right?
Fill it
You
out.
go- You fill it out, right? You and then that's it. If it's a rainy day, it's like
And then
man,
you had
F
to
this,
like
I'm
look
not
at,
going-
and you know,
Right.
sometimes you like filled in the wrong one. and
Right,
shit.
right.
That's funny.
And then and that's the thing. It's like sometimes you're just too lazy to even go to like, even though the corner store is like just a block away, but now you have access on your phone and just like put in your credit card, and let's go.
Oh, they just tied it. Shit.
Yeah.
But Proline's fucking bullshit too because they've got a clause that they don't have to pay out.
Really?
Yeah, like this was years ago when we used to play. There was a week where there were just too many winners, so they didn't have to pay out.
Wow.
How is that legal?
Yeah,
Exactly.
No kidding.
Like, but I guess the
Oh, did that go in or no?
Was that a save? I
It
think
looked like it went off the post. I don't know if they actually scored. All right. Anything else?
No. Well, thanks for coming, Ange.
You gotta come back,
thanks for having
for
me.
sure.
That was awesome.
Give us a updated State of the Union in
State
a
of the
year
Union.
from now or something. Once things move along.
Well, hopefully things pick up, man. Because love movies, man.
Yeah,
I
for
know.
sure.
Me too. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Until next time. Thanks for listening. See ya.